Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to the 2013 Graduation Ceremonies for Centers for Spiritual Living and the Holmes Institute San Diego Regional Center. My name is licensed practitioner Mitch Earl, and I'm delighted to be announcing this gift of new consciousness and those that are seasoned here with us today. Let us begin with the congratulations to the band. Let's give a round of applause for the Seaside band. As they lead us musically, a little bit of music bed under my voice. And now let us welcome first the practitioners of the United Centers for Spiritual Living. We next welcome the graduating practitioners of the United Centers for Spiritual Living. The graduating practitioners from the Center for Spiritual Living, Beaumont. Graduating practitioners from online education. And next, the graduating practitioners from Celebration Center for Spiritual Living. The graduating practitioners from the Center for Spiritual Living in Palm Springs, California. His consciousness was so large, I made him plural. Next, the graduating practitioners from Riverside Community Center for Spiritual Living. And they are excited. Next, the graduating practitioners from Seal Beach Center for Spiritual Living. The graduating practitioners from El Centro del Corazón Global Teaching Chapter. Some of you may recognize the graduating practitioners from Seaside Center for Spiritual Living. The Center for Spiritual Living Master Practitioner. Next, please welcome the ministerial students from the Holmes Institute, San Diego Regional Center. Let us now welcome the ministers of the Centers for Spiritual Living, beginning with Reverend Dr. Kathy Hearn, Holmes Institute faculty. Reverend Dr. Alice Bandy, Spiritual Director, Heart of Teaching, right here in Encinitas, California. Reverend Dr. Kristen Hawkins, Founding Spiritual Director, Namaste, Center for Spiritual Living. Reverend David Alexander, Senior Minister, New Thought Center for Spiritual Living in Lake Oswego, Oregon. Reverend Dr. Arthur Chang, Senior Minister, Founders Center for Spiritual Living. No mystery around here, Reverend Tammy Mars, the Executive Director, Associate Minister for the Seaside Center for Spiritual Living. Reverend Kevin Busey. Kevin is the founding minister, Universal Spirit Center. Josh Reeves, Senior Minister, Seal Beach Center for Spiritual Living. Dr. Jim Lockhart. Jim is the spiritual leader for the Center for Spiritual Living in Simi Valley, California. Reverend Dr. Roger Julien, retired in Spirit, Center for Spiritual Living, Mission Viejo, California. Reverend Dr. Christina Tillotson. Christina is the Distance Education Dean for our Holmes Institutes. Reverend Dr. Michael Carney, Center for Spiritual Living, Palm Springs, California. Reverend Fran Lascota Christ, the Artistic Director right here at Seaside for Center for Spiritual Living. Reverend John Poleski, Senior Minister, San Diego Center for Spiritual Living in the heart of downtown. Reverend Christina Collins. She is the Senior Minister, the Sanctuary for Spiritual Living in Covina, California. Reverend Carrie Masters, the Senior Minister, the Center for Spiritual Living in Beaumont. Reverend Dolores Story, Staff Minister, Beaumont Center for Spiritual Living. Reverend Diane Naki, Senior Minister, Center for Spiritual Living in Hemet, California. Reverend Kathy McNamara, she is the Staff Minister for Spiritual Living in Hemet, California. Next, please welcome Reverend James Peak, Assistant Minister, Namaste Center for Spiritual Living in Long Beach, California. Next, please welcome Reverend Tracy Earlywine, Senior Minister, Huntington Beach Church of Religious Science, a Center for Spiritual Living. Indeed. Next, please welcome Reverend Sam Flynn, Staff Minister, Vision, a Center for Spiritual Living. Reverend Joyce Kinzel, Community Minister, Spirit Works Center for Spiritual Living in Burbank, California. Next, please welcome Reverend Debbie O'Donnell, the co-pastor for the Center for Spiritual Living just north of us here in Carlsbad. Reverend Catherine Bonin, Staff Minister, Center for Spiritual Living in Carlsbad. Reverend Robert Brzezinski, Senior Minister and Spiritual Director, Center for Spiritual Living in Boulder, Colorado. Reverend Jerry Federley, the Community Spiritual Leader, Center for Spiritual Living in Escondido. Next, please welcome Reverend Patty Paris, the Senior Minister, Vision, a Center for Spiritual Living, San Diego. Reverend Lori Sheets, Youth and Family Minister, Seaside Center for Spiritual Living. Next, please welcome Reverend Jim Wyatt, Minister, Center for Spiritual Living, Temecula Valley. Please welcome now Reverend Lee McNeil Nash, Senior Minister. You're not anonymous, are you? She is with the Riverside Community Center for Spiritual Living. Reverend Jerry Hobby, Assistant Minister, the Riverside, you know these folks, the Riverside Community Center for Spiritual Living in the house. Next, please welcome Reverend Sharon Hudson, Regional Support Coordinator, Southern California and Hawaii Centers for Spiritual Living. Reverend Suzette Wehunt, Senior Minister, Om Center for Spiritual Living. Rebecca Berry, Staff Minister, the Celebration Center of San Diego. Next, please welcome Roby Warren, Founding Senior Minister of the Celebration Center for Spiritual Living in San Diego. Please welcome now Reverend Catherine Economo, the Dean of the Holmes Institute, San Diego Regional Center, Seaside Center for Spiritual Living. And Reverend Dr. Christian Sorensen, the spiritual leader of Seaside and the director of the Holmes Institute, San Diego campus. Please welcome now Reverend Dr. John Waterhouse, Senior Co-Minister, Center for Spiritual Living in Asheville, North Carolina, and also the President for the Center for Spiritual Living. I'd like you to embrace with applause now the ministerial graduates of the Holmes Institute, the San Diego Regional Center, beginning first with Kimberly Hawkins, Huntington Beach. Followed by Larry Marie Heil from Lake Oswego, Oregon. And from just north of there in Tacoma, Washington, please welcome Sherry Landau. From Tacoma, Washington, Lita Mullen. From San Diego, California, Gene Phillips. From my hometown, Los Angeles, California, Stephen Rambo. Can we give some applause to everyone who has proceeded before us today? Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the graduating class of 2013.
The Multi-Center Choir. Woo! Well, good afternoon, everyone. Hey, at least two of us are having a good time, huh? Anyway, welcome to Seaside, a spiritual nexus inspiring people to live their dreams and to live their divinity. And truly, it is a place where good things are happening all the time. And today is one of those grand happenings, and it is a joy for Seaside to host this fantastic commencement service, this graduation. It is a joy for us to be able to open up our home and welcome everybody here on this auspicious day, a day in which our hearts just sing with joy for the good that's going on for all these graduates. And that dean, for the last 7 years, the one who has been responsible for guiding more students into ministry than any other dean within our movement, is the Reverend Catherine Economo. So I'd like to invite her up and hand over the microphone since it is her party.
Oh, I love working with him. It's really good. Good afternoon, everyone. Here we are again. Feels like it was just yesterday, but it's been a whole year. Glad to see you. You're all looking lovely. Thanks for coming. So, what a pleasure and an honor it is to welcome you here today for this joyous celebration of consciousness. And speaking not only for myself, but for the graduates, we're so grateful to all our family and friends who've come together and chosen to be here to mark this wonderful and important occasion in their lives. We're here today to honor and recognize the accomplishment of graduation for our new practitioners and ministers. And graduation is also known as commencement. And this is truly a moment in time when we pause to celebrate and honor where they've come and see what comes next in these amazing dedicated students' lives as they move officially into ministry. And so today we're welcoming practitioners from 6 Southern California centers, along with our online class with new practitioners from 7 states and 3 countries. And we have our graduates from our neighbors to the south. We've got practitioner graduates from El Corazon Global in Tijuana. We love when you're here. We love when you come to graduate with us. And we're also celebrating 7 new ministerial graduates from the San Diego Regional Center of the Holmes Institute, 6 of who are present with us. And we have one of the most powerful and moving voices in New Thought with us today, Ray Davis. And as you've seen, our powerful community choir from our San Diego churches and Orange County churches, I don't want to leave you guys out. I know you're with us. Led by our amazing Reverend Fran Lascota Christ and friends. And we are honored that the president of Centers for Spiritual Living, Reverend Dr. John Waterhouse, is with us in the house today. And so it's a day of joy. It's a day of celebration. And I promised, as I said to the ministers, I promised that Reverend Kevin will be doing the benediction before tomorrow. So with that, we'll begin, as we begin all things in prayer, and I'll invite Reverend Dr. Arthur Chang to come forward and do our invocation.
Thank you very much. Let us turn within right now and feel that silence within. Meister Eckhart said that silence is the closest thing to God.
And as we turn within to feel our undifferentiated oneness with the source of life, for which everything is an expression, we feel united with all the tradition, the spiritual traditions that have gone before us. The traditions that have inspired Ernest Holmes to say we take truth wherever we find it. And we make it our own to the extent that we understand it. And in doing so, we rob no one. Because truth belongs to everyone. For we believe in the power of the Word, and that Word is made flesh through all who are inspired to move into the realm of oneness with God, and to recognize, as Jesus recognized, that it's not me but the Father in me that does the work. And so I speak the word of blessing upon this wonderful affair, upon all the families that have helped to support these graduates, the church family as well as the biological family. I speak the word knowing that this world is ready to hear these new voices. For the leap forward in life is through the novelty that is brought about by each individual voice that is expressing in his or her own way the mighty power of God. And so I bless what will become of the science of mind as a result of these magnificent graduating ministers and practitioners. I recognize that nothing will be the same, nor do we want it to be the same. And I, for everyone here, thank all the graduates in advance for all the wonderful differences they will make to this life. I accept the peace, the love, and the full appreciation of crossing this threshold and becoming that mighty presence for God in the world. Knowing that all is well, I say, thank you, Father, Mother God, and let the people affirm with me now. And so it is.
Every valley shall be exalted, every mountain laid low. I'm living in the desert, and the roses blooming on the highway. For my God, blooming on the highway. For my God, every valley shall be exalted, every mountain laid low. I'm living in the desert, and the roses blooming on the highway. For my God, blooming on the highway. For my God. A radiant faith is my friend today, and I see my life in a different way. I'm not excited, and I'm not crawling in despair, but I'm better than I have been. At the center of my sober mind, I am sure, I am calm. All is well, all is well. For I know that every valley shall be exalted, and every mountain laid low. I'm living in the desert, and the roses blooming
Good afternoon. Weren't they awesome? They're so good, a community choir. I'm Reverend Tammy Mars,
I'm Reverend David Alexander.
and we have the honor of doing our Declaration of Principles and our global vision together. Proud to do this.
Indeed.
Okay.
We believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. This one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. The manifest universe is the body of God. It is the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God.
We know that there is one life, everywhere expressing its infinite nature, and that this life is called many things: universal intelligence, beauty, infinite abundance, peace, spirit, joy, creativity, or simply God.
We believe in the incarnation of the Spirit in everyone, and that all people are incarnations of the one Spirit.
We envision all people, all beings, and all life as expressions of God. We demonstrate the oneness of Spirit in everything that we do, knowing that this oneness is inclusive of race, age, culture, history, religion, political affiliation, experience, gender, and sexual orientation.
We believe in the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul, forever and ever expanding.
We envision humanity awakening to its spiritual magnificence and discovering the creative power of thought, a world where each and every person discovers his or her own personal power and ability to create an individual life that works, with a world that works for everyone.
We believe that heaven is within us, and that we experience it to the degree that we become conscious of it.
We see a world in which each and every person lives in alignment with the highest spiritual principle, emphasizing unity with God and connection with each other. A world in which individually and collectively we are called to a higher state of consciousness and action.
We believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all.
We envision a world where each and every person has enough food, a home, and a sense of belonging. A world of peace and harmony, enfranchisement and justice. We envision a worldwide culture in which forgiveness, whether for errors, injustice, or debt, is the norm.
We believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God.
We envision a world in which we live and grow as one global family that respects and honors the interconnectedness of all life. A world where this kinship with all life prospers and connects through the guidance of spiritual wisdom and experience. We envision a world in which resources are valued, cared for, and grown, where there is generous and continuous sharing of these resources.
We believe that God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence.
And we envision a world where personal responsibility joins with social conscience in every area of political, corporate, academic, and social sectors, providing sustainable structures to further the emerging global consciousness. We are all in this life together, and we include everyone in our vision of a peaceful, loving world.
We believe in the direct revelation of truth through the intuitive and spiritual nature of the individual, and that any person may become a revealer of this truth who lives in close contact with the indwelling God.
We stand together in a shared commitment and devotion to our spiritual principles, practices, and values. Through our personal lives and organizational culture, Centers for Spiritual Living is in service to all of life through sustaining a consciousness of ever-unfolding love, peace, and abundance.
We believe that the universal spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind which receives the direct impress of our thought and acts upon it.
We envision a world which has renewed its emphasis on beauty, nature, and love through the resurgence of creativity, art, and aesthetics.
We believe in the healing of the sick through the power of this mind. We believe in the control of conditions through the power of this mind.
We teach spiritual solutions and practices to address the everyday challenges of life. We strive to assist individuals in their own evolutionary awakening, encouraging all of our members to live courageous, fearless lives and to be passionate about life and its possibilities.
We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of life to all.
We are a community empowered with the realization of unity and wholeness, from which flows the ultimate healing power of forgiveness and love. We are known for the love we share throughout our community and the world.
We believe in our own soul, in our own spirit, and our own destiny, for we understand that the life of all is God.
And so it is.
So as we take a moment to reflect on those beautiful words and our vision and values and principles, I'm also reminded that we are a teaching order. We are a community that comes together so that we can learn and practice those principles. And so we take a moment today to honor and to celebrate first some of our teachers. And so I would invite our teachers and teacher assistants who have instructed both our practitioners as well as our ministers to stand for a moment so that we might acknowledge and love on you. We also recognize today that for any of us, it takes courage to step upon this path as we let go of those ideas that no longer serve us and embrace a greater truth. And so we want to today also acknowledge those folks that have taken that first step in their studies. If you have taken the foundation class or perhaps Beyond Limits or Science of Mind 101 this year, we would invite you to stand as well so that we can acknowledge and celebrate you. First-time students. There's a whole group of us that continue on that journey as we take many of the wonderful classes and explore deeper these principles. So if you this year have taken some of the second level classes, including self-mastery or power of your word or roots, from whence we came, Troward, essential earnest, many of the others, we would invite you as well to stand so that we can celebrate you. I would also invite those folks that have completed their Practitioner 1 studies this year to stand firmly and tall so that we can really acknowledge you. And I, among many of us in this room, recognize that we do not walk this path alone. And so I want to take a moment, especially today, for us to honor our family, our friends, and our loved ones who have so supported us in our journeys. So let's those family and friends please stand too. And so to all of you on the journey, we say welcome and congratulations. Namaste.
I know. Thank you, Dr. Kristen. And so now it's time I've been waiting for. I'd like to invite Ray Davis to the stage.
Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're the light lighting up the world. Haven't you heard? In you there's no darkness. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're the bread. You're the wine, the word. Haven't you heard? You're the light of the universe. I know sometimes it's hard for you to clearly see just how you're gonna keep it together. Your obligations and responsibilities, how you gonna meet them ends? How you gonna make it one more time? Now let's hear the truth of it. You are much, much more than this. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're the light lighting up the world. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? In you there's no darkness. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're the bread, you're the wine, the word. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're the light of the universe. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know sometimes it's hard to hold your head up high and show the world you've got it together. You think of things that make you wanna run and hide. Who would love you if they knew who you are? Who could you trust to understand? Yeah. But now let's hear the truth of it. You are loved much more than this. Haven't you heard? Oh, haven't you heard? You're the light lighting up the world. Haven't you heard? Oh, haven't you heard? In you there's no darkness. Oh, haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're the bread, you're the wine, the word. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're the light of the universe. You're not the things you have done. You're not the words that you said, or the heartache that you're going through. Oh, oh, oh. You are the bright of the sun. You are the glow of the moon. And in your presence, the things that seem dark fade away, 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 heard? Haven't you heard? You're the light lighting up the world. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? In you there's no darkness. No, 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 no. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're the bread, you're the wine, the word. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're the light of the universe. Haven't you heard? Oh, you're the light lighting up the world. Haven't you heard? There's no darkness, no darkness, no darkness. No, you're the bread, you're the wine, the word. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're the light of the universe. You're the light lighting up the world. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? Seaside Band.
It was a good choice, wasn't it? Told ya. I don't know how he does it, but he opens his mouth and angels fly out. You know, it's just beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. I just feel like we're floating now. Okay. So we're here today to honor and recognize our new class of spiritual practitioners. And, you know, the practitioner is an important role here in our organization of Centers for Spiritual Living. They hold the light of truth for others. And if you ask any of these ministers over here on this side, they would say that they consider themselves a practitioner first. Because at the core of all that we do in all of our ministry is knowing truth and holding light and walking that path. And so I am honored to celebrate these amazing ones who have said yes to that call, to step forth, to do all the work that it has done to get to this day, to be able to hold the light not only for themselves, but for others. And so today we've got practitioners graduating for the Center for Spiritual Living in Beaumont, the Celebration Center for Spiritual Living in San Diego, El Centro de Corazón Global Teaching Chapter, Tijuana, the Global Heart Online Practitioner Class of 2013, the Center for Spiritual Living Palm Springs, the Riverside Center for Spiritual Living, Seal Beach Center for Spiritual Living, and Seaside Center for Spiritual Living. Mm-hmm. And I know we're beyond that whole, integration thing. But I need to say that I'm grateful that this is the first graduation that we have a formerly ICSL community joining us for our graduation here. So I want to say a little extra special welcome to the Celebration Center. Thank you for joining us. And I know that everybody else is going to join after they're here, after they experience this year. And so every year we invite a minister to give the call to the practitioners. And this year, we are honored to have Reverend Dr. John Waterhouse with us to give the call. Reverend Dr. John Waterhouse is the president of Centers for Spiritual Living. He is also the senior co-minister at the Center for Spiritual Living in Asheville, North Carolina, with his beautiful wife, Barbara. As president, Dr. John coordinates the services and communications between our centers and ministries and the rest of the global organization. Dr. John describes himself as a teacher, a guide, a mentor, and leader. In his own words, he says, "My life has long been about revealing the power that dwells within each person I meet." He is passionately dedicated to the Centers for Spiritual Living organization, and it is with joy that I introduce him to you today to deliver the call to the practitioners. Dr. John.
Good afternoon. Someday I'll learn how to do it like Christian. Not today. I want to begin by acknowledging my esteemed colleagues. They're all dressed in black. That's how you can pick them out. We wear black because it's slimming. I want to acknowledge that many of them gave a message at their centers this morning before finding their way all the way here to Seaside to be with us, to be with all of us today. So thank you for your deep and abiding commitment to this movement and to this teaching and to everything that it takes to be who we are today. Thank you. Can we acknowledge our minister? I had the pleasure of being with our ministerial graduates last night, all except Steve, but I spent some quality time with Steve in the parking lot, so I feel like we've balanced all that out. Bless you all for who you are and what you're doing. Yes, let's acknowledge these. You'll do that bunch today. And I've been invited to speak to our graduates, those that are coming into the position of licensed practitioner, and to charge you in your new area of endeavor. Not that it's new that you would treat for someone, but you're suddenly going to have a license, and there is going to be a mantle placed upon you with this, and it's an important one. And the reason that I wanted to acknowledge my colleagues first is because I'm about to say something that I wanted to have a little balance to. Practitioner is the most important job in our movement. It is. Two ways I know that. Every spiritual organization has clergy. Not everyone has practitioners. Yeah. We have practitioners, and that's our secret weapon against ignorance and suffering. Yes. And the other way that I know is that all of these ministers, as Reverend Catherine said, are practitioners first. We would put our most important thing first, and that's being a practitioner. So I come here to charge you. I have only two things that I want you to remember always. One is the idea of confidentiality. Do not take that lightly. And of course you go, well, yeah, they taught us that in class. But it's this important. I share words from the ceremony that we do at our center in Asheville. The work of the practitioner is always done in strict confidence and must be kept sacrosanct. That means eternally sacred. A practitioner is obliged to honor this trust at the same level as the priest is obliged when hearing the confession, as an attorney is obliged when representing the affairs of a client, or as a physician is obligated when caring for the well-being of a patient. This is a sacred trust. So when you want to tell somebody about something someone said to you, don't. It's no one's business but God's. And you are God's ears and God's heart when you do your work. Agreed? Okay. The other is that I want you always to remember the divine presence in everything. Piece of cake, right? Let me give you a clue what that will require. You can no longer judge anyone or anything. You must seek always to find the divine presence in whatever situation, circumstance you face. You must see that one that comes to you telling you that their lives are a mess. You must see God in that. My little trick is, when someone comes into my office to tell me how bad things are, I say, God just came in here to try to trick me. Don't buy it. Shake your head, accept, that they're talking to you, but don't buy the story. Don't buy the story. Know that God is sitting with you, and that divine presence can fly as high as anything and anyone. And your job is to know that. It also means people that aren't your clients are the presence of the divine. Traffic. Every time someone judges you, you have to remember that that's the divine. Every time something doesn't go your way, you have to find God in it. It's there. That's your job. And you know why you have to do this? Because we're all watching you. We're all counting on you. Because if you can't do it, why should we? I want to share some words from Ernest Holmes, some powerful words that mean a great deal to me. These are out of How to Use the Science of Mind. I know you've all read it. You must see that everyone is moving in the light. You are one who is holding out a helping hand, gladly and willingly, feeling it the greatest privilege that can come to you. Out of your assurance that God is all there is, out of your knowledge that the law of mind in action will execute your word, you travel along the path of self-discovery for yourself and for others, sometimes blindly feeling your way, but always with an assurance that there is a way, a truth, and a light. This may be the most important day of your life because you are choosing this path. You never leave it. And I don't care whether you're a prayer practitioner, a religious science practitioner, a spiritual practitioner. I don't care what you call yourselves. It's the same work. And the world needs you. And the world needs for you to know who you are. And the world needs for you to know who everything else is. It's all God. Can you do it? Yes, you can. Of course you can. I'm counting on you. We're all counting on you. So as you join the thousands of licensed practitioners in our movement, you truly do make a difference. You bring your consciousness, your love, your presence into this wonderful community of those that know the truth and believe in the way, the truth, and the light. God bless you all.
And every year we invite our participating churches to nominate someone to be put into a divine pick to answer the call. And this year we're proud to honor the online practitioner class. And first of all, I just need to stop for a second and honor this online program. Over the last 14 years, Dr. Christina Tillotson has been holding the light for online education for Science of Mind. She's been spreading it across the world. It's probably gone around at least 4 times by now, around the world. And every year she brings her graduates to graduate with us, and they come in from all over the world. And she's doing just great work in the world. I just want to take a moment to honor Dr. Christina. You're welcome. And so this year, God picked the online practitioner class to answer the call, and the online practitioner class picked Jackie LaBar from Connecticut to come and answer the call. So I'll invite you forward, Jackie. Sorry. No problem.
Me too.
What an honor it is to be here today. I am just so blessed. We are all blessed to be here, and I want to thank you for that incredible call. It touched my heart, and I know it touched the heart of everyone sitting here in these blue gowns, fanning ourselves. I know that the call that you gave me and all of us today has been calling us for a very long time. It did not start when we started practitioner training. It did not start in our very first class, Foundations, or whatever it was that drew you into Science of Mind. For me, it didn't even start when I walked into my office one day and there was a picture of Lucy sitting behind her little counter saying, psychiatric treatment, 5 cents. Because everybody knew the office to go to if you wanted some help was to go to Jackie's office. Didn't matter whether you reported to her or not. It didn't even start there. As far as I can tell, from the work that I've done in these past 2 years. It started when I was about 5. And a friend came to me and said, I'm having a problem, Jackie, and I need help. And I said, I'm here to help you. And I know for every one of us that there's that point in our life when someone reached out for us and asked for help. And we were there. In our incredible class that we had yesterday, I learned that Carl Jung was one day asked, will humanity survive? And his response was, if enough of us do inner work. And I know that those of us sitting here right now have done a lot of inner work. Not just in these past 2 years, but these past 2 years have been like, yeah. There have been many dark nights of the soul, of which I know I've been through at least 2. And Reverend Christina warned us of that. But I know, as I have prepared myself once I realized I was given this incredible honor, and I close my eyes, and I want you to know that this came to me not knowing what the vision of Seaside Center is. I see many, many paths coming to a nexus, which is this day, this place, this time, right here, right now. And every person who is in this room, whether you are graduating, whether you supported us, whether you were our teachers, we all came together today. And as I close my eyes again, what I see are more paths walking away from here, searching for that person, that situation that is calling to us. And for those of us who are practitioners, I know that this world is starving for us. And some people are so hungry they don't even know that they are. And when they reach out and they ask us, I need your help, or they don't even know they need our help, I know that every one of us answer your call as yes, yes, join me, yes. It is definitely yes. And every one of us in these seats has that person who is going to come up to us and ask us or tell us a problem that they have. And those of us on the online class who were in class yesterday know exactly what the answer is. And that answer is, I am help you with that problem. And we know that we can. And I want to thank you, and thank you for giving me this incredible honor today. Thank you.
And so here we are. This is the time. I get to give my directions, and I'm a little bit good at that. So you know, you have to know what you're good at. So first, because I'm the dean and I have some of my ministerial students with me, I'm going to ask them to help me out. They know that they get requested often of me. I'm going to ask Michael Heinley to come up and stand on this side of the stage, and I'm going to ask Robert Wilson to come and stand on this side of the stage. Do you? Okay, good. All right, then I won't. Good. Okay, you can sit. Okay, good. I'm glad the ministerial students are handling it. Okay, great. All right, so this is how we're going to do this. I'm going to call the center in the order that you were processing in, and as soon as I say your name, I want our students to get up and stand over in the lineup that you know you're supposed to be in. We know that? Everybody know? Everybody clear? Okay, you're going to follow your leader. Okay. At the same time, I'm going to invite the ministers and teachers to come forward and make a line on the stage. And then I will be calling your names to move across the stage, okay? Everybody clear? We ready? Okay, good. This is the fun part. All right. We are going to start with the Center for Spiritual Living Beaumont, Reverend Carrie Masters, Senior Minister. All right. Jean Carter. And Corliss Serber. Yay. Quick hugs. Okay. See? Good. Great. Next, we have the online practitioner class of 2013, Reverend Dr. Christina Tillotson, Pat Watson, Simon Shadowlight. Great. Jackie LeBear, Bethel, Connecticut. Jeanette Quinn Bisbee, Rockwood, Ontario, Canada. David Drewhurst, The Woodlands, Texas. Sherry Johnson, Lincoln, Nebraska. Elizabeth Kessler, Middleborough, Massachusetts. Lori Lancaster, Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Gunter Meyer, Brussels, Belgium. Shannon McConnell, Brentwood, California. Inka Omholt, want to get it right, Westchester, Pennsylvania. Lucienne L. Webster, Farmington Hill, Michigan. Thank you. Next, we have the Celebration Center for Spiritual Living, Reverend Roby Warren, Senior Minister, Teacher, Reverend Rebecca Berry. Sherry Blair. Michael DePriest. Anne DiNapoli. Maria Flores. And Lisa Lazaro. Congratulations. Thank you. And next, we have the Center for Spiritual Living, Palm Springs, Reverend Dr. Michael J. Carney, spiritual leader, instructors Patricia Minkle and Stephen Record. Paul Heater. Congratulations. And next we have the Riverside Community Center for Spiritual Living, Reverend Lee McNeil Nash, spiritual leader, teachers Allison Berry and Anita Nace. Christine Bias. Renee Hart. Gary Lawrence. Sue Parlin. And Stephanie Vaughn. Congratulations. Thank you. Next, we have the Seal Beach Center for Spiritual Living, Reverend Joshua Reeves, spiritual leader, and assistant Sylvia Hungerford. Dorothy Lance. Anne Marie Lovedahl. And Michael Martinez. Congratulations. And next we have El Centro del Corazón Global Teaching Chapter, Tijuana, Mexico. Teachers Perla Murillo and Clara Sanchez, Assistant Eliud Lagarda, and Supervisor Janice Deaton. Erika Mian Lara. Angelica Jaquez Lopez. Alejandra Ramos Rosales. Eloisa Gomez Serrano. Congratulations. Thank you. And last but not least, the Seaside Center for Spiritual Living, Reverend Dr. Christian Sorensen, spiritual leader, instructor Ginny Mills, assistant Kelly Miller, Carolyn Holder, David Yankaskis. Patty Christensen. Denise Harmon. Robin Holt. And Cameron Marati. Congratulations. And this is the class of 2013 Spiritual Practitioners, the Centers for Spiritual Living. 16 minutes. And I'll invite Dr. Christian to come back to join me on the stage, please, to introduce our Master Practitioner graduates. The Master Practitioner program is a special program that was birthed here at Seaside 11 years ago. It's a designation for practitioners who've completed a 10-class program of advanced study. This program includes work in spiritual leadership, mystery and ritual, counseling skills, class facilitation, spiritual economics, and other various topics. This year we're celebrating 2 master practitioners from Seaside, and so I'll invite forward Sharon De Leon and Jennifer Legere. And now for a special blessing on all of our practitioners, I'll invite forward Reverend Joshua Reeves.
Let's take a good look at you. So I invite all of us just to think for a moment upon all of the prayers that will be uttered from these dear mouths. And just to feel just a slight inkling of those prayers is such an awesome blessing. It's like feeling God herself right here. And so feeling the blessing of those prayers on behalf of all of those clients, all of those you know the truth for, those who know it and those who don't, thank you in advance. And since this is a blessing, and since the first rule of spiritual mind treatment is that it's a work always done in our own consciousness, I invite each of you to take a moment to feel your answered prayers. To know that more deeply your magnificence, the sincerity of your mind and heart as you step, continuing on this journey in an exciting, new, and visible way. Thank you for honoring the truth of who you are so that each of us may see it more clearly and emphatically about ourselves. And so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Joshua. And I'll invite Ray Davis back to the stage. Woo, woo.
Where am I? Oh, that's much better. Some of y'all don't know this about me, but I typically play at the piano. But are you digging this band? And as a bona fide musician, I hereby grant thee the privilege of using the word dig in any version when speaking of music and musicians who are heretofore known as cats. Cats. So you digging those cats. Yeah, we might as well do this. This is a little story song about transformation. Is that all right? Yeah. Any way you want to start it, baby. Here we go. He always thought he was an average man, average face and average hands, average feet set square on the middle tier. Satisfied with his mild success, as much as any average man could expect, until the day he was beset by his greatest fear. Yeah. It all started with a feeling so immense that time and space stood still. He said, what if I was born for greatness? What if I am really more than I think I am? What if mediocrity was never in the stars for me, and miracles and wonders was the plan for the average man? Yeah, yeah, for the average man. All his life he said he'd find the nerve to stretch and reach beyond the bell curve, but never did, for fear of drawing back an empty hand. He said, what's an average man to do? So little time and all these things to think through. Maybe I should just stick to what I understand. But he couldn't shake that feeling, no. Feeling so immense it filled the whole blue sky. He said, what if I was born for greatness? What if I am really more than I think I am? What if mediocrity was never in the stars for me, and miracles and wonders was the plan for the average man? Hey, 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 for the average man. Hey, hey. Oh, couldn't shake that feeling, no. A feeling so intense it about to blow his mind. He said, what if I was born for greatness? What if I am really more than I think I am? What if mediocrity was never in the stars for me? And miracles and wonders was the plan for the average man. Yeah, yeah, hey, for the average man. Yeah. Oh, I gotta sing na 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 na. Hey, can you sing it with me? Sing na 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 na, yeah, na 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 na. Oh, come on, na 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 na. Throw your hips a little into it, na 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 na. Come on, get the hips up, na 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 na. Get your hips in the high, na 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 na, yeah. Woo! Na 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 na. Come on, sing na 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 na. Yeah, now sing it from your soul, y'all. Yeah, na 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 na. Sing it from your soul. Hey, hey, come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Hey, na 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 Come on, come on, come on, sing it. Na 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 na, come on. Na 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 na, sing na na na. Woo! Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na na na. Na na na.
You do realize I have to talk now. Fabulous, thank you. Oh my God. They're not even gonna get mad if we go long now. You got them up so high, it's great. No. There we go. I'll bring them back. I'll bring them back up. All right, are we ready? Okay, good. I don't know if I'm ready. Okay. So I want to give you a little bit of history. I don't want to, it's a very interesting transition right here for a second. So we're going to just everybody take a breath. All right. So what I would like to do is to give you a little bit of information about the Holmes Institute as we move into the Holmes Institute convocation. So, historically, the United Church of Religious Science provided formal education for ministerial students since 1972, originally through Ernest Holmes College School of Ministry. And in 1996, that function was assumed by a new entity, Holmes Institute, a graduate school of consciousness studies. And then in 1997, the Institute began offering a 3-year Master in Consciousness Studies degree. In 2004, Holmes Institute gained the prestigious distinction at the time of being the only small seminary training program to gain accreditation by the Distance Education Training Council, which was renewed in 2009, which is being renewed this year. And now, And now at the other end of that word I said before, integration, our organization has just completed, Homes Institute, has become the channel for ministerial training for the whole of the Centers for Spiritual Living organization. The mission of Homes Institute is to prepare spiritual leaders for service in the global community. It's through rigorous study and continuous spiritual practice that our students emerge as spiritual leaders for our world today. Our graduates here are all called to serve our world, each in their own individual way. They've worked hard and now are ready to step out into their new ministries and share our great philosophy in inspiring and creative ways. And so it's with joy that I officially open the academic convocation of graduation for the Homes Institute San Diego Regional Center 2013. And so these ministerial graduates sit here before you having completed one leg of a journey of a lifetime. We're celebrating them today, all the work, both inner and outer, that they've accomplished that has brought them to this point of graduation. The role of minister is one that we take seriously within Centers for Spiritual Living. It's a role of leadership and a role of support to others. It's one that has great rewards and even greater responsibilities. And as we've heard today already, the path to ministry begins with a call. It's an inner call, as was so beautifully articulated, that call that comes from the soul to know more about itself. And it is that call that first brings us to one of our centers and churches. And with the inspiration of our ministers on Sundays, the call is still there for more. It leads to our Science of Mind classes, and here one opens to the truth of the self and finds a greater understanding of and relationship to the infinite Spirit of God. They learn about spiritual principles and how to live them and actively create the experience of their lives. And throughout the process, the call is still there. One of my teachers, Dr. Linda McNamara, says, us ministers are just really hungry. It leads to one to want to know more and to support others in finding this truth and experience. So it leads them to practitioner training, 2 full years of intensive study, deeper self-examination and skill building to represent this philosophy and bring it forth in a greater scale. It trains one to see God in the experiences of life and to support others in finding their own truth and connecting with the divine that is a truth of their soul. And so once they've completed this, they step out into the world as a religious science practitioner. And for some, the call is still there. So they come to us at the Homes Institute and open to all the possibilities of ministry. And for somewhere between 3, 4, 5, 6 years, somewhere, depends on the person, they study the world's religions, quantum physics, classical philosophy, psychology. They learn about leadership and the art and the craft of ministry, and deepen even more into the philosophy of the science of mind. They do countless internships, actually 480 hours of internships. In all areas of church life, it may feel like it's countless, but we count them. In all areas of church, am I right? Okay, yes, okay. In areas of church life, including working with our youth, our core councils, doing pastoral care, speaking and learning the ins and outs of church life, all the while still doing their own inner work to support them on this path and on their own and together in community in our campus retreats. And during their senior year, they take 6 comprehensive exams to solidify and integrate their knowledge and experience. And once they've read all the books and passed in all the papers and completed the internships, passed the exams, and completed all the requirements, they come here to this great day of celebration to graduate with a master's degree in consciousness studies. And this path then leads them to licensing panels at Asilomar in August, and then this leg of the journey is complete. And the next one begins, their true work of ministry. And so Edmund Hillary, who, along with his Nepalese Sherpa Tenzing Norgay, became the first confirmed mountaineers to reach the peak of Mount Everest, said, "It's not the mountain that we conquer, but ourselves." And though at times these students probably felt as though we were asking them to actually climb Mount Everest, This path has actually been one of diving deep into the depths of their own souls so that they may soar to the heights of consciousness. So this class of 2013 that you're about to meet is quite a remarkable group of souls who not only passed all the classes and completed all the requirements, but each of them individually walked through powerful experiences in the meantime. They stepped forward as ministers long before this day. They healed illness. They gracefully walked through life changes, jobs, moves, relationships, the loss of dear ones. They experienced great grief and powerful transitions, and even one heard Spirit's call and began a new center already. All the while allowing their hearts to stay open and receptive to the divine presence, guiding, supporting, loving them, and calling them to a greater expression of being. And they continue to know truth and support others around them as they walk through this path. This group has been particularly supportive of our campus and our community. Each one of them has reached out and supported all the new ministerial students that have come into the program. And I know that they all, in the School of Ministry, they all have a prayer partner. Each one of these students has at least 3. Their senior student mentors to at least 3 other students, along with all of the support that they give in their home centers, never mind starting a new center. And so this is a remarkable group whose hearts are remarkable. And I'm excited to introduce them to you today. And so we'll begin with Kimberly Hawkins, who will be hooded by her sister, Reverend Dr. Kristen Hawkins, and her daughter, Krista Mandler. So I'll invite you to the stage. Sit. Oh my goodness. Okay. Next is Larry Marie Heil, hooded by Tanya Marie Stricker and Reverend David Alexander. Sherry Landau, hooded by myself, and Nicole Dahm. Lita Mullen, hooded by myself and Reverend David Alexander. Jean Phillips, hooded by Carol Phillips, Michael Powers, and Reverend Dr. Kathy Hearn. and Steve Rambo, hooded by his father, Louis Rambo, his brother, T. Michael Rambo, and his mother, Patricia Rambo. And I'd like to mention that we have a 7th graduate this year who is a student who lives on a small island off the coast of Puerto Rico. So she's not with us today, but her name is Ogla Silva. So I'd like to take a moment. She's watching us via the live stream today, so we're sending our love and our blessings to you, Ogla, and I cannot wait to honor you at Asilomar. I also want to take one quick moment to speak about Ogla because she was part of Dr. Christina Tillotson's first Foundations class 14 years ago. And because of that program, and because of our beloved Reverend Suzette Wehunt, who created the video conferencing program for the Holmes Institute, we are able to spread this teaching across the world. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so, it's my honor to introduce to you Reverend Dr. Alice Bandy, who will be delivering the call to ministry to these graduates today. Reverend Dr. Alice is the spiritual director of the Heart of Teaching, Teachings chapter in Encinitas. In our neck of the woods, she's known as the teacher of teachers. A prolific curriculum writer, Dr. Alice has created countless classes and small group curricula on a wide spectrum of spiritual topics. She was my predecessor as dean at the Holmes Institute San Diego Regional Center. She also served as the ecclesiastical corps coordinator for United Centers for Spiritual Living, and in her time there, she not only revamped our educational offerings, she also oversaw the Holmes Institute, World Ministry of Prayer, International Ministries, Practitioners, Ministerial Ethics and Standards, and Youth and Family Ministries. Dr. Alice is a beloved faculty member at Holmes Institute, teaching our Metaphysical Bible II class, teaching Adult Science of Mind class, and has just completed a special topics class on ministerial consciousness. It's her passion for the classroom and the classroom experience and dedication to the growth and expansion of consciousness that touches so many. And this is why our students chose her to deliver the call to ministry to them today. It's my honor to welcome her to the stage.
Thank you very much. My beloveds, look at you. Look at them. Let's have another round of applause for them. I'm so honored to be doing this today, and I want to tell a story about Ogla because she's not here. When people are not here, you get to tell stories about them, right? Ogla, this is for you. I recently did a class called The Consciousness of Ministry, and when Ogla walked in the door, she was wearing this very beautiful shirt. And as she came in, I said to her, Ogla, wow, that's a beautiful shirt. And it's because I do all my shopping online. I said, did you buy it online? She said, do you really like it? And I said, yeah, I really do. And so we had our class. We went through the weekend. And when I got finished and I was cleaning up the house, I turned around, and Ogla came running through the door and left me her shirt. And so it's sort of typical of this class that they will give you the shirt off their back. So every time I wear that, Ogla, I want to thank you, and I'm going to remember that when I wear it. It's beautiful. So I'm so happy to be here today, and I loved the name of this, The Sacred Journey, because life is a journey, isn't it? not a destination. We learned that, right? And so as we walk through our lives, we each create our own experiences. It's our individuality, it's our ego, really, that creates the experience, creates the construct, is the architect, if you would, of our own lives. But the substance has always been there. The substance of life came from before the beginning. The substance of life is consciousness. And so that's what we all do. We all create our lives through our preferences of our personality, but the substance we're using to do it is our consciousness. And so what we have today here are our masters of consciousness. That's what they're winning today. That's what they've studied. Masters of consciousness and ministers of truth. Because something else happened to them along the way. There's so many choices in our society, so many ways. You know, I always think of ministry as sort of a peg that we fit in our culture, a way that we get along in our society so people kind of know what we do. But there are other choices. There's business, there's science, there's the arts, right? There's many professions that someone could choose. They could choose medicine, they could choose entertainment, but these chose ministry. They put their path on the foot of the path of ministry because something else happened to them. Something happened to them along the way. And that is that they had that spark within them. We've heard that described already today. That spark that ignited into a flame of desire, a flame of love, a flame of truth within them to walk a different path, to allow that flame to ignite within themselves and to be dedicated to the truth and to be dedicated to that way of being divine reality in the middle of our world, which is no small task. It's no small task. And that is what they have done. And so this call really came to them a long time ago. It started with that spark before the beginning of time. And so as I'm trying to issue a call to them today, what I'm really doing is I'm echoing that call. I'm reminding them. I'm bringing it forward so that you are reminded of it. Because it's an important day. It's a day in which our culture names them minister. But they have, in fact, had that consciousness all along. Being a minister is kind of a weird thing. It is. It's weird. You know, when people see you coming, the conversation topic changes. Have you ever noticed that? Yeah. And there's a lot of parties you don't get invited to. That's right. But that's okay, because what happens the next day is that the very same people who didn't have you at their house last night are in your office telling you things about their lives that are amazing. Because our lives are all amazing, aren't they? I mean, we walk around in our nice clothes and everything, looking good, right? But underneath that, everyone has the same. Everyone has this great procession of ups and downs and ins and outs and all the things that take place in just being human. And so they come to you the next day because they know that you will be that place of healing for them. They know that you will be the safe space. You will be the place in which the truth can be seen and found there. They count on you for that. And it's like Michelangelo. It's like that Italian sculptor, Michelangelo, who used to be able to look into a block of stone and see that beauty of his sculpture and call it forward. That's what you're like. Because you can look into our culture, into our community, into the individual, and you can call forward there the beauty. You can see the truth of that person, and you can see the genius within them. You see the God within them, not only in the individual, but also in our world, in all the situations that go on in our world. They've trained themselves to be able to look into the worst possible event and see God. And so this is an amazing call to ministry. An amazing call to ministry. And we count on you for that. We count on you to be that one that can do that can stand in that space and know that truth. And not only that, but to lead us out of it, which is quite something. So, when you start to look at this world and remember the truth, as you remember that God is at the very center of each individual, we start to honor in each individual the genius within each individual, that presence of God that is there, that is that person's unique genius. Because everyone's a genius. Everyone is a genius. Everyone in this room here today knows something about themselves that's very special. Everyone here has a talent, has a perspective, has an idea, that if it's that bring that forward, if these people are able to fan the flame of that within you, if they're able to encourage you or lead you into situations where you can reveal that, then all the world is transformed out of your being a genius. Yes, and just as you are. And so today, as I call you to ministry, I call you to your genius, because you are a spiritual genius, if you would, a master of consciousness. And what that means is that when you go into ministry, you don't follow along the usual path. You take your own path. You have your own perspective. And so I encourage you today to consider, what is your special talent? What is your special interest? What do you dearly love? What is your special dream? And to not leave that behind, but to bring all of yourself, bring your full self, bring every aspect of yourself to the great path. Because this path is not a sacred path, it's a path you walk that makes it sacred. Because you are on it, it is a holy path. Because you are the holy ones, you see. So, as you bring all of yourself to this great work, and it is the great work, as you bring yourself to that, you have to ask yourself, how am I going to sustain this work? How am I going to keep going? How am I going to bring the whole of myself to this, to reveal the whole of myself, and still be refreshed and inspired every day? How is that going to happen for me? And so it's then that you remember that the substance that you're working with is God. The substance you're working with is consciousness, and you're just the architect of it. And the spark within you is love, and it is the great love that has called you here, and it is the great love that will carry you through. We teach in religious science about love and law, but as you advance and as you become more and more familiar with this idea, you realize that love is the law, and the law is love, and there's no difference between those two. And so what that means for you is that you can rely upon that love. You can relax into that love. You can absorb that love. You can allow the love of your heart to be the love of your days, because that's the way the process works. And we use that word love, I think, in our society too lightly. We toss it around. You know, it's the names of songs and books and movies and, commercials and different things. We just use it too lightly. But that's not what I'm talking about today. I'm talking about the great love. I'm talking about a love that is so profound that you can barely speak it, that I can't describe it. But it lives at the very center of you. It lives at the center of life. It lives at the center of your call to ministry. And it is that divine love. It is the substance of life. It is the material out of which we live. And so, as you relax into love, as you allow yourself to love what you love and to do the work that you love, everything multiplies, everything expands. And what this means is that the things you love, there start to be more of those. It means the dreams that you love start to come true. It means that every single day you fall in love with life again. You fall in love with the triumphs and with the struggles and with the joys and with the pains and with the ins and with the outs and all the different things that make it up. You fall in love with being human, and you fall in love with being divine, and you allow that infinite love to flow as you and be the minister that you are. That's how you do it. It's no small thing, but it's once you have that dynamic, you won't exhaust yourself, you won't deplete yourself, and you'll be there for all of us, because all of us are counting on you. All of us here today are counting on you to be that place that's whole, that place that heals, that place that's safe, that place that's loving. We're counting on you for that. We want to follow you for that. So today, I call you to that. I call you to the love of your heart. I call you to being who you are. I call you to the genius within. And as you go forward from this place today, I call you to minister and to teach and to heal and to serve and to love and to laugh and to cry and to be human and to be divine and to be all that you think your life will ever be. I call you to all of that today because we are with you, all of us here. We are looking for you to lead us into new paths. Don't walk the same path. Do as Emerson said, walk a new path and leave a trail so we can follow you, because that's why we're excited about you today. Because just as Michelangelo did, and just as you can do, looking into the heart of our society and seeing God, we look into you today and we see a divine dream realized. And it's a dream of truth and of ministry, and we will follow you to the ends of the earth with that. As you walk into this world today and tomorrow and the next day, allow yourself to be ignited with that love. Set the world on fire with truth. Be the passion, be the enthusiasm, be the one who knows. We're with you, we support you, we love you so much, and we're so grateful for you. Congratulations to you, and thank you for saying yes to ministry.
And to answer the call, I'll invite forward Kimberly Hawkins.
I'm not running away. I just need to get my notes, which I left down here. I joked about running away on the way down here, so I want my sister to know I'm not running away. Oh, wow. And I just had to jettison the hat. I can. You know, I felt the energy in this room before we walked in this morning with the music and just all of you. Oh my gosh, I am so full. And I am delighted and honored to answer the call on behalf of these 6 absolutely beautiful, beautiful souls who've shared this sacred, and truly it has been sacred, journey with me. I'm going to attempt to describe the indescribable for you. The feeling of what it feels like for me, and I know it does for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of you and Ogla today. The profound gratitude, the awe, the wonder that we're feeling. And these are bittersweet moments with a cornucopia of emotions. Of course, there's relief. The papers are done. There's satisfaction of achieving a goal that we have wanted and longed for and worked for, and there's jubilation to have finished this part of our sacred journey as Holmes Institute students. There's excitement and wonder at what will be next. Some of us know a little more detail about that than others. Yet there's also a mixture in here of real sadness at the realization that we will no longer be in class together. Feeling that heart connection we have with one another. We've found a new family. We are unanimous in that idea. And while there's an empty nest feeling about parting, I absolutely know that we will continue to support each other through our sacred adventures yet to come as ministers of science of mind. What an amazing, deepening, ripening process this has been for us as we walked more closely with our God, with each other, with the heart of this teaching, and our spiritual guides, our absolutely beloved, amazing teachers. We, the senior class of 2013, have spent between 3 to 6 years savoring this journey while attempting to balance busy careers, precious home lives with academic and emotional demands of school. As Reverend Alice mentioned, each of us has indeed answered the call of our hearts to become ministers long ago. And I know we'll all agree it was a call that simply would not be denied. Try as we did upon occasion. For it was fueled by a passion for this philosophy called science of mind and spirit. A passion. As Jean Houston so beautifully expresses in the foreword to our Science of Mind textbook, and I quote, "Spirit assures that the lure of becoming is always calling, as is the incendiary vision of what we may be." That incendiary vision, I believe, is what put the fire in our gut and gave us the stick-to-itiveness to finish what we started. But you know, I'm wondering how many of us truly get and understand what we have in our hands here with this philosophy of Ernest Holmes, this philosophy that we have adopted. I imagine from Foundations class on, most of us have seen some big changes in life, yes? We're able to manifest things pretty well now through the power of affirmative prayer. We get what a precious gift it is to be in a loving spiritual community. But there is more, much more, to this spiritual organization that promotes global transformation through personal transformation. Again, I turn to Jean Houston's words, lovely words. The science of mind gives us the passion for a new possibility. It shows us how to stop boring God by waking up to the fact that we are here in God's school to learn the principles of world making and the evolving of self and society. The principles of world making. Not only do we get to heal our own wounds, help others to do the same, not only do we create our personal experience by the power of our thought, but just imagine with me for a moment what the world might be like if everyone on the planet understood that we are all incarnations, individualizations of the one Spirit Almighty. If every child, every parent, every world leader truly understood this, our dream of a world that works for everyone would truly be made flesh. And so for the 7 of us who stand at the threshold of our official ministries, 6 of us right here, and our beloved colleague and pioneer, Ogla, in Puerto Rico, the global heart vision lives right here. Yes? Right here. It blesses us with the commitment, the passion, the energy at our average age, mind you, of 57 years old. To begin anew. A new great work, one we've known for a long time, fits our dharma, our life purpose, our calling. We are on fire. We are so grateful for the families and loved ones that have made many sacrifices to support us on this sacred and time-consuming journey. We're deeply grateful as well for the most amazing and inspiring teachers we could ever ask for. And for our beloved unfailing supporter, Dean/midwife, Reverend Catherine. All of you have been part of what I like to call our birthing team. After a long, intense labor, I'm happy to say you all have finally delivered 7 brand spanking new ministers. So congratulations to all of you, and know that these baby ministers are strong and strapping and about to shine our light on the world. But before I go, I have just one more reminder I would like to make. The lure of becoming, in Jean Houston's words, the lure of becoming is always calling not just new ministers or practitioners, but all of us to our dharma, our passion, that incendiary vision of what we may become. So whatever that is for you, if you've heard the call but not yet answered, Go for it. Take the first steps now. The world is waiting for each of us to express that part of spirit that only we can express. As author Stephen Cope explains, whatever your authentic work is, whatever it is the great work of your life, the title of his book, by the way. He quotes the Gnostic Gospel of Thomas, "If you bring forth what is within you, it will save you. If you do not bring forth what is in you, it will destroy you." Following our Dharma, our true work, is how we die to our smaller self and are reborn to our higher self. Stephen Cope writes, "Eventually, your Dharma takes you into a new land, a land where you can rely only upon God. You cross a bridge, and you are suspended in the air. Only God is holding you up now." My beloved classmates, you are suspended in the air, and only God is holding you up now. May we all have the courage to take that leap, to follow the call of our own sacred journey, to cross the bridge into a new land where we rely only upon God, God right within us. Blessed be. Thank you so much.
And now to give a special blessing for our graduates, I'll invite forward Reverend Dr. Kathy Hearn.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so honored that you have invited me to do this blessing. And we are inspired looking upon you because you said you would do it and you did it. I've had a heart connection with each one of you, and so this feels like a very special moment to me. So please stand up, put down your stuff, both physically and metaphysically, okay? And get ready, because we are going to bless you. So open up your hearts, and I'd like to invite all of you to stand. Take a nice deep breath and let it go. And all of you, please put your hands on your heart. And for those out here, take a moment to feel right under your hands there your highest aspiration for these beloved ones. And Ogla, I know you're watching, so please stand and do this as well. The highest love that you have, the highest aspiration for these standing before us represent the incredible contribution that one life can make. And we've got 7 of them here. And so think about all the love that you have for these ones, the good that you know they will be doing, for they've already done so much. And together we lift our consciousness and know that across time and space, all of those who have done the great work of loving and healing, all the greats of New Thought, Ernest Holmes, Emma Curtis Hopkins, Thomas Troward, all of the beloved ones, all of the priests and priestesses, all the healers. Let us embrace them now in our consciousness, knowing as we incline our consciousness to them, so do they incline their awareness to us. And so we take a moment to feel a vast blessing and benediction from all time. These ministries are God's idea coming forth in time and space. And so we take a moment to feel this great blessing moving down through the tops of our heads and into our heart center. And all of you in the congregation there, please stretch out your arms and your hands and convey this energy and this love to these beloved ones here, knowing that they each walk paths filled with light, that Spirit meets, guides, and directs every single step that they take, that as divine ideas, these ministries come forth with all that is needed for full and joyful and complete expression. and that the good that these are to do is so beyond even what we can imagine, and yet we accept that it is so. That each and every day, God's got them. That they have within them a deep faith and trust that all is well every single moment, no matter how it looks. That their roots go deep into the earth, their spirits go high up into the universe. And on this pole of spirit, they are centered. And so we give thanks. Thanks to life. Thanks to God for bringing forth these ministries and these ministers. And thanks for these blessed ones, as Dr. Alice said, for saying yes. And so with loving thanks and knowing this is done, together we say, and so it is. Amen.
And now the time we have all been waiting for, but mostly the graduates. By the power of God and the authority of Centers for Spiritual Living vested in me, I do hereby declare the official completion and achievement of these degrees, Masters of Consciousness, and spiritual titles, Practitioners of Truth. You may move your tassels from the right to the left. Congratulations to all of you.
And we'll welcome back our choir.
Light of the world, light of the world, I am called to be the light of the world. Light of the world, light of the world, I am called to be the light of the world. Hey, 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 hey. Light of the world. Ooh, light of the world. I am called to be the light of the world. What will my answer be to the Spirit's call? Yes. What will my answer be when I give my all? Hey, 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 hey. Ooh, I am called to be. Hey, hey, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I am called to
up and join me here. And in the meantime, while he's making his way, I want to say just a couple of quick things. First of all, I have a number of people to thank for this amazing event. Our coordinators, Tricia Burson-Johnson and Debbie McDonald. I couldn't do it without you guys. And they will actually be sitting here next year. So I'm calling forth the next wave of volunteers to support us. The Seaside practitioners and Practitioner 1 students, the Holmes Institute ministerial students, we couldn't have done it without you. Kathy Phelan, our registrar, Reverend Fran Lascota Christ, Ray Davis, oh baby, thank you. Sherry O'Hara, Carl Christ, Sylvia Isley Aguilera, our musicians, Seaside Band, Bob Mathis, Lynn Willard, Pat Burke, Tom Bishop, our sound, Ed Reeves, Melanie Bennett, and Tim Griffin, who is live streaming us. God bless you. Thank you for sending this out all across the airwaves. Ken Brown, Chris Bisson, and all of our amazing volunteers, thank you so much for supporting this event. And then I just have one little asterisk here for my friends in blue. Joseph Campbell said, "The big question is whether you're going to be able to say a hearty yes to your adventure." Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "None of us will ever accomplish anything excellent or commanding except when he listens to the whisper which is heard by him alone." So let me tell you, God's whispering, and so am I. And just so you know, there was a little card in your special programs. I know you've all got it. You all got there you go, wave them out. You got your little cards. We're having an open house on the 15th. Come on back, have a little chat with our registrar, Kathy Phelan, and myself. Let's just explore it. Let's see. Just see, you know? It's not scary. We're fun. Just come on. Just say yes. And so it's with that sense of joy and celebration. I have to tell you, whenever I hear the light of the world, I get so happy because we're almost done. I'm going to turn it over to Reverend Kevin. So for our benediction, thank you, everyone, for joining us today.
So great news, as Reverend Catherine promised, we began and ended in the same day. Yes. Prayer works. Prayer works. So a couple words I want to say to the graduates. We all heard you say yes. We all heard you say yes. So let today be the redefining moment of your entire life. Let this yes to Spirit create within you the capacity in every situation, at every moment, in every relationship, in every decision to put God first. So it begins today. Blessings on you. Thank you for your yes. Let's pray. And so we enter that stillness. That space within where the infinite moves and lives and has its very being as us. So we align in this moment with the truth of our being. We see in ourselves and we experience in each other the infinite presence of God, the power of love. This is the most true thing about us. And we let it be, and we say together, so it is. Amen.
light of the world.